Well, keeping Greeley and Greeley residents safe is definitely a mission of our council. It's one of their council priorities, as well as a priority for our fire department and our police department. And here to tell us today about one of those safety things that we have added is Sergeant Susan West, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the AEDs, which we've talked about here on Inside Greeley before. That's those automatic external defibrillators. And Susan, I know you're really happy I didn't make you say that.
I am, thank you.
Well, we're so happy to have you here today, and many folks who are watching today probably have maybe heard a little bit about this. And of course, we started off with the fire department. They had purchased several of the AEDs and have been doing some training, but now it's kind of crossed over to the police department. And can you kind of tell us a little bit about, why that happened and how it's going to help out the community?
I certainly can. What we've discovered is that quite often law enforcement is in the area where a call comes out, and often we're not in the middle of something critical at these times, and we can get there quickly, even more quickly than the fire department when we're only 2 blocks away, possibly. So the background behind this is that we've had several officers who've come up on traffic accidents or have been doing their duties and have discovered people having heart-related issues, and through their efforts with CPR and those kinds of things, we've been able to save some lives. The AEDs are just another tool that allow us to do that, and by having them in the cars and available, then patients are able to get this critical life-saving effort that much quicker.
That's right. Well, and as you mentioned, so many times the police are there before anybody else arrives. Exactly. It's just kind of the way it works out many times. And the one great thing that, as I mentioned, we had talked with Bill Deershaw, who is with the fire department, who kind of started getting all this going with the Heart Safe City program. He was talking about how easy this is, and that'll be great for the police officers because then they're able to administer, help a lot quicker.
That's right, and it is really easy to use these things. You turn them on and they tell you what to do, basically. So the officers have all been trained in their use. It's part of their CPR training now, and so they've had previous use with it. We are going to do some updated training with them to just let them know where they're going to be in the cars, how to get them from the station, get them on the street and deployed, and those types of things. We hope to have them on the street by the end of September.
Okay, well that sounds great, so people can know that they're out there. And you mentioned the training. Is this training that's something coming through the fire department, or is it a whole separate thing?
The training is basically on our policy on how we're going to deploy these. We have 12 of them here with the city, but if we send 12 out in the daytime, our daytime officers don't come off till 5. Our swing shift officers start at 4:30. Then there's none left.
Right.
So we've developed a rotational program where we'll send 6 out in the daytime. Swing shift will take the remaining 6. Then when Lates comes on at 9:30, they'll take the 6 that Day's brought in. So we always have a rotation. We'll always have at least 6 on the street, but there will be times when we actually have 12.
Well, that's a great opportunity, and having 6 of those out there and having them available, it's going to make sure that folks that need that will receive that help when they need to. I wanted to mention real quick before we finish up here about the officers that just recently received the awards because of that life-saving things that they perform to help folks out, and this will just help them down the road too, but we wanted to be sure that we mentioned them.
That's right. Officer Steve Brown, he worked individually at a traffic accident scene. Officers Doug Medhurst and Joe Tim were actually working a truck inspection on Highway 85, and they came across a truck driver who was having difficulties, and they were able to save him.
So that just says so much about our Greeley Police Department and our force that's out there that is protecting us in many, many different ways, and even our health. So we appreciate that so much and appreciate your time today.
All right. Well, thanks. I was glad to be here.
All right. Well, for those of you who are watching today, if you have not received your AED training, be sure to contact the Greeley Fire Department, and they can get that set up for you. They have several of those that are happening throughout the month for free.